Back at the World Center of Speed one more time after an exciting Winstel 400 that saw an incredible finish. The Winstel Cup Series back one more time to take on Daytona International Speedway and crown a winner to open the 2004 season of the Winstel Cup Racing Series. Good evening, everybody. You're watching Winstel Cup Racing on ABN, the Aero Broadcasting Network. My name is Joe Cortez. The boss lady, Carmen Sienna, joining me in the booth as always. And Carmen, this is going to be a fun race tonight. 60 laps around this giant track. Winner takes all.
Obviously, we've been here before. We've seen a decent amount of these drivers going into this race. But now there's a little bit more weight behind it. It's the start of a brand new season. A bunch of drivers, once again, in position to potentially go home tonight. But it's all done tonight. It's not a 2-week process. It's not a weekend process. It's all in the span of 2 hours. You're going to see heartbreak, despair, and the highest of highs in victory lane. It's a very exciting process here. Older Daytona, bumpy Daytona. The track's going to move around a lot. These drivers will be moving around a lot to see who can stick on the low lane, who can be on the high lane. A way different spectacle than what we saw in January. But these drivers are some of the best, and they're going to show it here tonight. And it's a very condensed race. It's not the 160 laps we saw in January. 60 laps to get the job done. Every move matters forward and backwards. You don't want to lose that momentum because you may not get it back.
When we last spoke to each other, as you mentioned in January, Emily Howe took the checkered flag. She will start in the number 15 machine tonight in what you're right is a very condensed race. 60 laps, the time for tonight's race. Fuel window around 16 to 18 laps, so look for 2 and maybe some more stops during caution flags. In the 2.5 mile tri-oval Daytona International Speedway, known for 31 degrees of banking in the turns. They're not gonna be able to well up on these machines at all. It's hammered down all the way around. 18 degrees of the tri-oval, 3 degrees in the back straight. And as you mentioned, this one has a little bit more, it has a different weight to it. It has a different set of gravitas to it because it's not a one-off. It's not a one and done. It's not a win and take the money home. This is part of a longer season. This is part of an extended season for each of these drivers. Every race matters. Every race counts. And all these guys, you can win tonight, but every one of these drivers has one thing on their mind: the Winstel Cup Championship at the end of this very long season.
Yeah, and obviously a lot of things have changed. It was a single season format in last season. Going to this season, introduction of the chase format. Now, after 16 races, the points reset for the top 12, and they get to go at it for realsies for those last 8 races. And that is going to be so much more important. It's going to be so much more crucial, those first 16 races. In the previous season, there was 24 races per usual, but there's 4 drop rounds. Only top 20 races counted. Now every race counts because you have to make it into that top 12. It's so different than what it was before, that these drivers will have to kind of put themselves into that mode that every race counts, because obviously so few drivers are going to make it into that cut line to have a chance to really fight for the championship. And then those final 8 races obviously are going to be wild too. This is the only track we visit twice on the calendar. Every other track on the calendar, Talladega, Charlotte, Martinsville, Rockingham, Texas, we visit all those tracks once. This race is the only race that you can actually look at, take the data from it and say, okay, we're coming here again in the summer. How am I going to turn things around? If tonight goes bad, this is the only race where you can actually do over later on in the season. A lot of drivers have to think about that. A lot of the smarter drivers, a lot of the championship contenders, the favorites that we think of, they're going to be doing just that.
Sure, you can redo this race in the summer. There's definitely a lot to be said to that. But that being said, there's only one season opener. And in many situations, the season opener can make or break the momentum for your season as you go through. As you see some of the drivers at the top of their screen tonight, we do have more than 43 entrants on the track tonight, which means 6 of these cars will not qualify and will have to go home when we start qualifying in just 15 seconds here. But lots of drivers that a lot of your we'll recognize in the mix right here. Parker Alexander, 12th in last year's standings. Ryan Doucette, 17th in last year's standings. Emily Howe, as we mentioned before, was 8th in last year's season, and some new returning faces as well. Justin Howe did not race in 2003. He will make his first start in the series tonight. Plus some rookies. Court Cook in the Zero Machine will start for the first time tonight. Mark Parkhurst, Eli Sizak, and two more, and at least one more that I'm aware of, the 96 of DJ Trout, all starting for the first time tonight. And Morpheus Perry, who we saw in the Winstel 400, will be making his first official start in the Winstel Cup Series tonight.
Yeah, obviously some rookies here that we've seen before. For those that have watched ABN, we know Mo Perry from obviously the 400, but he's also been in the ABN Champ Car World Series. Same with Mark Parkhurst. We've seen him in HTL and in the ABN Champ Car World Series. DJ Trout, we've seen him all over the place in ARCS and HTL and Champ Car. Now he's here trying to try to qualify in as a rookie here. Another big name, Davin Cornelius. A lot of people know him as Drive Thru, big time Twitch streamer over in Drive Thru. He's making a start once again. He raced in this race last season, finished 31st, but he only made 2 starts last season, so he's still classified as a rookie going into this season. There's a lot of drivers that'll be going through that process here. Qualifying underway here. We'll see times begin to really tick forward here as everything gets ready to go. Green flag is in the air as we get ready to go here. We'll see times begin to pull in. Just 1 second here. But yeah, a lot of drivers you talk about here, you talk about Eli Sasek. He's a driver that's going to be pretty interesting to watch. He likes the cars where you have to really will them and where they dance around. And these cars will dance around here at Daytona. If he qualifies in, and he has to qualify his way in, he's one of those that go or go homers. If he can qualify his way in, he's good to go. It's just getting to that point when there's so few spots up for grabs for those that are new going into this season.
As we are under the 2004 rules, just a reminder, the top 35 from points last season are locked in. So your defending champion, the number 4 of Tyler Head, and everybody else who had a consistent season last year, top 35 will make the show tonight, which means there are 8 positions where you can qualify in or go home. So we will see who's going to take up those last 8 positions as we get ready to go Green Flag Racing. 43 drivers will take the command when we go to Green Flag Racing here at Daytona International Speedway. The question is, with 7 minutes and 40 seconds left, who are they going to be?
Yeah, 4 drivers are going home tonight. Very important. Obviously, we had there's 55 entered cars for this season. We saw 47 show up tonight, so 4 going home. Obviously, very important. Obviously, a lot less heartbreak going into this than we saw in January for the Winstel 400. With Winstel, we saw north of 60 cars try to qualify for that race. So times beginning to fall in. You'll see the splits there at the top of your screen right now. It looks like it's Zach Campbell top of the board, Aaron Smith alongside him, then Dylan Roberts in the 8, that famous white and red number 8 that we saw so many years ago. It's back on track here. Evan Mellinson is in the this 4th position in car 60. Brennan McGee in the 9. Then it's Gabriel Mauricio, who's runner-up last season in that Silver Bullet, that number 40 machine. Let's see how he does tonight. Sean Peleg in the 48 as well. Then Kyle Benson, Jose Solis Jr. in the 29. See if he's a happy person this season. Definitely wasn't so happy last season. 5 wins, but nowhere close to the championship crown in the previous form. Timothy Latham in 10th. He's in the 84, that 5th car for that Chevrolet camp alongside Peleg and Alexander. So it's going to be fun to see here. Some familiar names going into this. Christina Ryan, former ABN Open Wheel World Champion. Got a couple top 10s last season, trying to increase her form and try to hopefully make the chase in the Aaron's Dream Machine, that 00 car. We'll look at some of the cars here as we get ready to grid up here. But times they are changing here. 42 drivers set lap times. Ken Huff in the 31. Olivia Hayward in the 36. Brandon McKissick in the 37. Ryan Doucette in the 33. And Anthony Krobach in the 11. Electing to not set lap times here tonight.
Or at least have not set the lap times yet. 5 minutes left still on the clock. And you mentioned something that's actually really fun about this league. So we've talked about this being effectively a redo of the 2004 season of the actual NASCAR championship. which is great. I mean, it's fun that we're using those rules, but all these drivers are using all of the paint schemes from those cars as they originally ran that year as well. So don't look for any original paint schemes. Don't look for any fantasy ones. Each of these drivers, the number they have, they're going to be running the paint scheme that went with that car back in 2004. So a lot of fun in this series. It's going to be a whole retro look tonight. It's going to be a whole retro feel, racing the way it used to be, and it's going to make for a lot of fun racing in these older cars. I'm excited, Carmen. I am genuinely excited about what's going to come up.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun here looking through. More cars have set lap times here. As we look throughout the board here, it looks like we've right now 44 that set lap times here. Krobach, Hayward, and Huff have not set lap times. Ken Huff, I think, he's not a locked-in car, I don't believe. Olivier Hayward and Anthony Krobach, they were locked-in cars. So they are safe to go here when we get ready to go racing. They were in the top 35. Krobach was in 33rd. Olivier Hayward, who's in the 36 car, was 32nd. So they both were at the very edge of being locked in. But they're electing to start the back on purpose. As we mentioned, this is going to be a handful race. This is a track. This is a combination where these cars jump and bounce around a lot. So you're going to see a lot of shuffling, not only between the drivers in the field, but drivers in the lanes, in the corners. A very aged surface on top of a suspension that is very bouncy, has a lot of travel in it. Drivers will be up on the wheel. They will be sawing at that wheel all night long. We'll hopefully get glimpses of that. We have a lot of onboard cameras here at Daytona as well to kind of show you what the art of stock car racing is, especially with this Gen 4 machine.
It certainly is an art, even though we are at, again, the World Center for Speed, the track where you can easily exceed over 200 miles per hour in the draft. It's still going to be a challenge for each of these drivers. Don't think you can just sit in the back and run in a train all day long. You're going to have a lot of travel in these cars. It's going to have a lot of movement, especially side to side, up and down. So you're also going to be visually focused on the track. You're going to be mentally focused on the track. Sure, this is sim racing. It's not as physical as other forms of motorsports demand, but there's still a big mental toll on each of these drivers, especially because they have to control a very loose setup that is going to be bouncing on them all over the track. We are getting reset up. It looks like we've got the qualifying order set. Is that correct?
Yeah, we are about to get ready to go racing here. It is official. Qualifying is over. Zach Campbell will start the season on pole position. Here is your starting grid for this race. Zach Campbell brings it to pole position for Dodge, that 41 car at the front of the field alongside Aaron Smith and Ryan Doucette and Dylan Roberts in row 2. Keep an eye on that number 8 machine. Really good in the super speedways. Just hasn't had the luck. Does it break through for car 8 here tonight? Evan Mellinson and Brennan McGee, they are in row number 3. Then it's Gabriel Mauricio, runner-up last season in the points alongside Sean Pellig. Keep an eye on row 4. Row 5, Kyle Benson and Jose Solis Jr. will round out the top 10.
Going back to row 6, Timothy Latham will be on the inside. Christian Budd starts on the outside in that Joe Gibbs, DeWalt Ford. Brandon McKissick will start in row number 7 on the outside of him, the 22 of Justin Howe. Evan Lack will start on the inside of row number 8 on the outside of him, the 24, the Rainbow Warrior machine of Rick Doucette. Emily Howe, Larry Pace make up row number 9. And in position number 19 and 20, it'll be Alex Bates, a 25 machine, starting alongside the 1 of Jonathan Hernandez.
Sitting in row 11, Davin Cornelius. He's qualified his way in once again, the 77 car, that Kodak number 77, that Dodge, in row 11 alongside another rookie, Corey Cook, making their debut in the Winstel Cup Series season tonight. Michael O'Brien and Thomas Lewandowski in row number 12. Then it's Christina Ryan in the Aaron's Dream Machine in row 13 alongside Jeffrey McClintock. James Bowles and Tyler Murray in row 14, row 15. The top 30 rounded out by Andrew Griesbaum and DJ Trout.
Riding out the rest of the field, the 30 of Ali Osman and the 6 of Reich Razimus will start in row number 16. Drew White and Craig Lautenslaughter in row number 17. Mo Perry, Mark Parkhurst will make up row 18. Row 19 belongs to Rory Collins and Eli Sasak. Parker Alexander, a former winner in this series, will start row number 20 alongside Chris Champeau. And finishing out the rest of the field, Corey Steinhauser, Kenneth Stew, Hayden Reppes, and Brandon Cruz all going to the back. Olivia Hayward, Anthony Shirobak, and Ken Huff unable to qualify for tonight's race.
Yeah, important thing to know there. Corey Steinhauser not locked in, is out of this race, as is Kenneth Askew in the 80 machine. They did not qualify in. Brandon Cruz, Olivia Hayward, and Anthony Shirobak, they move forward in this form. Going through this, another DNQ here tonight would have been, I believe that's the 09 Eli Sasek was the third driver's DNQ to make space for the 36 of Hayward.
So 43 cars will take the call to go green flag racing when we come back around, this time by everyone being led around by that first racing Ford Mustang. Around the back stretch they go, 60 laps to get started here at the Daytona International Speedway. Carmen, who do you got your eyes on tonight?
There's a lot of drivers to really kind of focus on here. Obviously, Zach Campbell, he's showing a lot of pace here throughout speed weeks. Obviously, pole position here tonight, but being fast for a single lap and having the top speeds doesn't really equate to just being a race winner. He's looking to do that here tonight, but that's a tall order. Ryan Doucette in the 33 is a really good shot as well. Dylan Roberts looking to really turn the tides. My eyes on Gabriel Mauricio and on Emily Howe. Emily Howe won this race in the 400 on the newer surface. She also won the ABN Daytona 300 in this exact same track combination. She was in contention there, had a speeding penalty. So she knows what it's like to get around here, knows what it's like to get around with a loose race car. It's going to be very loose. Keep an eye on the 15, keep an eye on the 24, keep an eye on the 40 in particular to move forward and be contenders.
Race car makes a hard left turn down pit road, and now the command is on the 41 machine. Green flag flies, and we are racing for the first time here at Daytona International Speedway. The Winstel Series, the 2004 edition of the Winstel Series, has officially begun, with Zach Campbell leading them into turns 1 and 2. Side by side they go, 2 trains going into the turn.
It's still side by side here, and it will be for a little bit. Everyone winding up the momentum here. It's going to be hard to bump draft. You're not going to see a lot of bump drafting like what we did in January. Bump drafting is going to be harder to find. It's all about building momentum and all about managing and tiptoeing around here. You're going to see the 59 move to the bottom of the racetrack here. That's Aaron Smith moving to the bottom. People prefer the bottom on the inside lane right now. A lot of the fast drivers, a lot of the favorites preferring the outside lane. They think that that's going to be where you're going to want to be as this race goes along. We'll see if that's the way. Dylan Roberts right now leading the outside lane, trying to challenge and go to the front of the field.
2x2 once again. Your leader last time around was the 59 of Aaron Smith. Now a challenge from the 8 machine that belongs to Dylan Roberts. The outside line seems to be the faster line of these two, but the low line doing a great job of defending. Nobody getting out of line just yet. Nobody looking for their own line. Everybody happy they can stay in one of those 2 lines, work to side draft one another, keep everybody in check, as now the 8 gets a big push from the 9 of Brendan McGee.
Yeah, Dylan Roberts right now leading the way on that outside lane. Then it's McGee, then it's Peleg, then it's Jose Solis Jr. in the 29. On the outside lane, you have the 59 of Aaron Smith, the 41 of Zach Campbell, and then the 33 of Ryan Doucette. Excuse me, the 10 of Ryan Doucette, excuse me, in that inside lane, making things happen here. They still staying pretty well, nice and tidy. Again, 60 laps. Very short race. A lot of drivers already sitting back, waiting for the shoe to drop and for a big one to happen. But everything moves quickly. 2 pit stops. We already talked about that in the pre-race. You mentioned it there. Pit stop sequence between 16 and 18 laps. So everything's going to come really quick here tonight for these drivers, and they need to stay on top of their A game here. They're on top of the car, on top of the strategy calls. Don't make any mistakes, because a mistake can throw you out of this race or a lap down and out of contention. It's a very fine line, the finest lines we've seen on ABN, and you're going to see right now as Roberts went to the inside lane. Brendan McGee, he'll take a lap lead here at Daytona.
So Brandon McGee now working that top lane, showing the strength of it and speed of it as the 8 of Dylan Roberts elected to drop down to the bottom. Again, nobody electing to go their own lane. Nobody electing to start a third lane. Nobody electing to challenge anybody yet. Right now, everybody is just happy to run side by side with each other as we run now on board with Jose Solis Jr., the 29 machine.
Caution's out for the first time, right as we went on board with somebody who had the issue. Looks like Larry Pace. Larry Pace with issues, the 98 machine. Looks like Kyle Benson may have had something with him as well.
So Larry Pace, the first one in the infield, the Lucas Oil machine, will start to come back. Let's take a look at the replay here, see what happened and what caused Larry Pace to go on the inside.
Playing this in real time, he's up near the front of the field, and you see him get spun out immediately. I believe that is Kyle Benson that was with him. Obviously not a great angle there, but it looks like they were, as you mentioned, someone was trying to create their own lane there, going 3 wide. And it obviously didn't work out well for either Pace or for Benson there.
It looks like there was a miscommunication somewhere between those two drivers. There was a miscommunication on where they were going and what they were doing as the 98 just got punted by the by that zero machine that belongs to Corey Cook.
Yeah, it looks like Larry Pace was trying to check up there for Nick Doucette, and it did not pay out quite that well. Corey Cook turning the 98 around, and obviously you see that M&M's machine of Kyle Benson going around as well, not in the way either of them hoped that they would go. There's Kyle Benson. There's a rough time overall there for him.
Is that the 16 or the 38 machine?
I believe it's supposed to be I believe it might be the 16. I'm not sure. They might have wrapped that car wrong. But we'll go with it for now. Either way, both cars involved there. Larry Pace at the back of the field. Started 18th and now on his way completely backwards here.
Well, now the question we have to ask for the 16 and/or the 38 is how much damage does that car have, and will it remain to be viable on this track as pit stops start for the first time tonight? Aaron Smith will lead them down pit road.
Yeah, big time changes here. You see the drivers coming to the pit box there. Zach Campbell leading the way.
2-tire stop for most drivers, the 29, the 10, the 22, all coming off pit road first, followed by everybody else. It looks like maybe a miscommunication with the 59 team as they took 4 tires or extra fuel or had some sort of issue out there. They're going to lose a lot of time on this first run of pit stops. As we talked about with these pit stops, if you're running a green flag pit stop, the good news is tires are not as big of a concern on this track as they would be anywhere else. In this track, you can get away with not having fresh tires because you're not putting as much stress on them on this 2.5-mile tri-oval. The bad news is you have to stop for gas every time. So at minimum, you're looking at 3 to 5 seconds on pit road for a full tank of gas. At maximum, if you decide to go 2 tires just to have that extra grip on the outside, you're looking at about 10 seconds down and away. And for some of those drivers, that was not a 10-second stop.
Yeah, obviously looking here as we wait to see if there's anyone else passing through here on the inside lane. Not many drivers stayed out there on that run. It looks like just the top 7 stayed out, from Dylan Roberts to Parker Alexander. Jose Solis Jr., the first driver to come in. Some drivers did take 4 here. Some drivers obviously taking a little bit of repair. It looks like 20-second stops for a couple of cars here. Michael O'Brien and Corey Cook, obviously one of the drivers involved in that early accident. Taking some time to repair the car there as everyone begins to roll through here.
So pit stops are complete. The first racing Ford Mustang back in control of the field as we have looks like they took off the wrap off that car during the pit stop. There we go. I'm about to say, I know they work hard, they work fast, but that's a little too fast if you ask me.
Riding on board. You saw that earlier this weekend. You saw the wrap come off of the 1 car. Ross Chastain in practice had part of the wrap come off. So we've seen cars go fast enough to tear the wrap up. But I think that's a painted car this time. Back when the cars were actually cool and painted, and you had the metallic spec maps and everything.
Oh, yes, back in the day when everything was hand-painted, everything was brushed on before they did wraps, and when you really had some incredible jobs on those machines. A lot of fun to go back and revisit those days on the track. Roberts, McGee, Peleg, Doucette, and McKissick, your top 5 right now, as it looks like we should go back to green flag racing next time around.
Yeah, this is the last lap of caution here. Top 5 on your screen at the very bottom of your screen. 6 laps in. We're on lap 7 now. So, very interesting to see how everything's going to be so far. Chevrolet's pretty well dominating the top 10 here. 3 in the top 5. Then it's Dodge, 2nd and 5th, with McGee and McKissick there in the top 5. Looking throughout the top 10, Christina Ryan keeping an eye on the 00. Only 4 top 10s last season. Looking to possibly break through and get a top 5. It'll be the first time Christina Ryan's got a top 5 in Winstel competition. But still a long, long way to go. Same with Parker Alexander there, number 5 machine. Then Jose Solis Jr., Nick Doucette, and Justin Howell sitting in the top 10. That 22 car just kind of lurking right now. He's dangerous like that and looking really good so far. It is just Chevrolets and Dodges. There's no Fords, there's no Pontiacs, nothing like that right now. Just straightforward Chevy and Dodge in the fight right now. You have to look all the way down outside the top 15 because there's still more Dodges here as we get ready to come green.
Pace car makes a hard left turn down pit road. It will be a single file restart as the 2004 rulebook demanded. The control of the number 8 machine of Dylan Roberts. Green flag flies, and the 9 immediately on his tail. Brendan McGee slow to wind up, but will continue to push way out there. It's a 22 now making the run on the bottom line. Justin Howe going to try to see if he can make some friends down low. He will. A full train line running now on the bottom, started by the 48.
Everyone moving their way forward here. Sean Peleg in the 48, followed by McKissick in the 37. 2 cars on the bottom trying to tandem their way to the front of the field. But now the outside lane has a little bit of warm-up as well. Roberts, McGee, and then the 24 of Doucette. Chevrolet moving forward.
The outside lane still seems to be the preferred lane out here as the 48 and 8 ride side by side. The low lane not having as many cars on board with it, but they're starting to break away in their own pack as well. By my count, about 13, 14 cars involved. Let's ride along on board with the 00 machine. That belongs to Chrissy Ryan, currently running 7th in the field. Another contender to watch. We know she's fast. The question is, how fast is she going to be as she turns laps in traffic here?
Well, that's a good thing to point out here. Fast lap speed belongs to 192 miles an hour. Obviously warming up the buses here. We'll see what that last lap's going to look like here as right on board. She's on the outside lane. You see how much, especially in the corners, these cars are buffeting and bumping around. So hard to keep a straight line, especially in traffic when you've got so much air wrapping around your car. She is 4th in line. So it just gets harder and harder and harder and harder the further back you go to keep this car under control right now. And you see right there, laps now getting back up to that 192 level that we were expecting to see. We had fast lap for her, 192 on the nose. Not far from it right now, but she's, again, it's all about managing your traffic. She's not going to be full throttle at this point. She's going to be off it a little bit. Want to make sure you have enough space in case something does happen to the cars in front, like what we saw with Corey Cook and the 98 of Larry Pace before. She doesn't want that to happen to her as well.
We talked about this being a physical sport, both mentally, on the brain and on the body. And you can see just how physical it gets riding alongside the 00 Chrissy Ryan. Not only do you have to deal with the bouncing up and down, left and right on your focus, but also these wheels have force feedback on them. So as much as you're driving left and right on a loose setup, you're also fighting the wheel as well, fighting the gravity of the wheel, fighting the feedback of the wheel in order to keep these cars going straight and going as fast as they can on that field. The 9 now, that's Brendan McGee. He will drop down to the bottom lane, creating an opportunity for the 24 of Nick Doucette. Will he capitalize, and does he have the horsepower behind him to start leading some laps?
Obviously, that is the magical question here, and obviously time ticks away so much quicker here when it's only 60 laps, and we're already 10 laps out of the way on lap 11, come to completing it, and moving on to lap 12. Right now, McGee controlling the inside lane. He's got Dylan Roberts there for support, but Nick Doucette on the outside lane does lead the lap.
The outside lane will lead a lap that time by. Now will the 24 drop down low and try to defend that line, or try to fight off that line, opening the door for the 00. We'll see what happens right now. The 9, though, getting a good push down on the low side from the 8. The 48 also giving a shove as well. 3 cars on that low line starting to break away from the rest of the field. Will it be enough as we start thinking about pit stops here in about 12 laps?
It's very interesting to me. Obviously, the outside lane, people prefer the outside lane, especially those that you list here with Doucette, with Ryan, with the 29 of Solis, obviously in the inside lane, the 40 and Mauricio, several really good drivers in that outside lane. The outside lane's quicker. A lot of drivers prefer it, but it's also more unstable the further back you're stuck in traffic here. That's going to be so hard to really manage here. I'm wondering why that's the case. But obviously the inside lane's also holding its own right now because it's led a majority of the laps so far. I just wonder where the outside lane comes into play here. Obviously 16 to 18 laps, that's not a lot for the tires to actually considerably wear here at Daytona. So I'm not sure where that comes into play, where that momentum really comes into play, because the inside lane seems to be able to answer that outside lane pretty well spot on. It's going to be interesting to see how that happens, or if there's a specific tandem we need to see happen to lead that outside lane forward.
But as we talked about earlier in tonight's race, this is not a race of attrition. This is not a race of tires. This is a race of fuel management. Whoever can be the best managing their fuel, whoever can get the most out of these virtual tanks is going to ultimately win the race. And if we continue running green, this one could be won and lost on pit road as we run along the 77 of Davin Cornelius now. Still, you see him stuck back in traffic behind the 21 of Tom Lewandowski, trying to work his way through traffic. The high side, let's just sit here and watch this for a second, especially in the turn, and you can see just how unstable that high line is. Getting into the high line, he is sawing that wheel back and forth, trying to figure out where it's comfortable, where he can keep the least amount of stress on his car out there, and what he can do to turn the fastest lap on this lap. How he's able to make these guys run faster over and over again. That is the question. What can you do in traffic? For Cornelius, it's just a fight of keeping it going the right direction and not spinning out.
This is such a hard track to pass on when you're stuck in this gridlock right now like everyone is. Everyone seems pretty well confident in what they can do. So those that are on the outside lane, they're probably the most confident of the bunch. Those in the inside lane, maybe not as confident running the outside lane yet, or maybe they're just kind of holding pace and seeing if there's any movement on the outside lane. Right now there hasn't been. Now that you've got Doucette leading with Christina Ryan on the outside lane, it seems like it's stalled out with McGee leading the favor. But riding on board here with Cornelius, it's just a lot of fun seeing, especially keep in mind, because this is what the driver's seeing right now. This is exactly what we're seeing through Davin Cornelius' helmet. You see the amount of sawing at the wheel. It's never steady at any given point, even on the straightaway. Like right now, it's still bouncing a couple degrees back and forth. You're going to see that a lot. This is as you mentioned, it's a very physical race. Extremely physical race. Doesn't matter what equipment you're running right now, it's going to be physical. You're sawing this wheel back and forth, and all of that, you have to be so aware of what you're feeling. Is the car slipping and sliding a little bit too much? Is it stepping out a little bit too much? Is it the front end that's not biting? All of that matters so much, and you have to have a sixth sense on it. Right now, Davin's in that run. You just saw Justin Howe, who has lost a lot of positions here in that 22 machine, moves to the outside lane ahead of Lewandowski. But you're seeing some people moving now and trying to position themselves where they think the lane's going to begin moving. Justin Howe, who's won on plate races before, thinking the outside lane's the lane to be in. Keep an eye on that. Justin and Emily Howe, siblings here, have the same pack racing mindset. They're both really good at this pack racing stuff. If that's to be believed, right now, Davin Cornelius is in the right lane. And you're seeing that right now. There's Jose Solis Jr., who was in the top 10. Solis is now outside the top 10, firmly so. And there goes Ali Osman. Wow.
Ali Osman making a very bold move through the third lane. Will pick up at least 2 spots for that number 30 AOL machine. What a bold move. What a crazy move, but it works. And sometimes you just have to make those moves. When the opportunity presents itself, you don't ask questions, you just go for it. Now up to 14th position. The question is Ali Osman happy there? Or is she going to be looking for some more spaces as now they go 3 wide around that position? 21, 5, and 30. All 3 wide. Discretion the better part of valor. Osman will not challenge it. And we're back to 2 wide in the backstretch.
Yeah, Lewandowski got passed by Osman and put Osman 3 wide pretty quickly to get a position back there. So now Osman ahead of Cornelius there in that 77 machine. Osman in the 30 behind Lewandowski, behind Justin Howe. Ali Osman gained 6 spots in that 3 wide shoot through the middle. That's insane. He was 8. Obviously, he got passed again and dropped down to that 6 spot position. Now he's beside Bandit McKissick. But he's still looking to the outside lane, still not afraid of trying to put it 3 wide here if it means getting some extra spots. Osman right now, as it stands, sitting in the 14th position, just outside the top 10. Osman is a very interesting character. He's a very interesting person to watch race. And he's not the only one that's like that. He just was the first one to do it. So now that they've seen it happen and they got away with it, I wouldn't be surprised if more people tried shooting the middle gap there, because it seems like you're running the wall or you're running the yellow line. It leaves a lot of gray area to try to take advantage of, and that's what Osman saw.
Ali Osman hunting for his first win tonight as we start seeing people coming down pit road. Big contention breaking off pit road, including Osman and company. Some of them locking up the brakes. The 24, the 00, 8, 9, 50, 37, 48, 30, 42, 38, all coming down to the attention of their crews.
Leaves another group outside. They'll probably come in at the end of this lap or next lap. Gabriel Mauricio and Zach Campbell, teammates there. And the Dodge is leading the way. Then you have the 84 of Timothy Latham. In the 84, the 10 of Ryan Dessette. Then you have Davin Cornelius. There's Emily Howe as well in the 15. There's the 01 of James Bowles. Justin Howe in this group as well. Who peels off this time? No one from the front group.
Nobody from this group may peel off this time by, because we're only about lap 15 of that window. Remember, you can potentially take it 18 laps before you are forced to go in for gas, before they tell you you don't have a choice. So this group may be trying to stretch out as much as they can, get every drop out of that gas tank before they come down pit road. The further they go now, the easier it may be for them down the line, as they will ultimately be able to potentially turn this into a comfortably, I should say, turn this into a 2-stop race.
Another thing to kind of keep in mind, a lot of the leaders that just came in pit lane, they did not pit on that first caution. They stayed out. So they took advantage of having that caution to save a little bit of fuel there for their first stop. This group pit on lap 5. Realistically, they should be able to make it another couple laps here before they come into pit lane. I would not be surprised if some of them can even go all the way through.
We got trouble. We got trouble. 2 cars, 3 cars, now 4 cars involved. Starting around that number 12 machine. Caution is out, and bad news for those who just came down pit road. Mo Perry, first car to get squirrely out there, will bring out the second caution flag of the night.
Jonathan Hernandez, another driver that went sideways. I don't think they were the first to go sideways, but they were the ones that ate it the most. Looks like it could have been Aaron Smith that went sideways first. Aaron Smith in the 59 machine would have been the one that went sideways at the very first moment there. Let's go back and look at it here. Obviously, everyone checking up there. This is coming out of the tri-oval. And we'll slow motor here. And you're going to see exactly Aaron Smith got a little bit of help. Was that off the nose of one of the Dodges? It was off the nose of Perry, who got checked up. And there's the 25 and the 6 also involved there. The 25, Alex Bates, got checked up there. The 6 of Mike Rasmus also checked up there, but Aaron Smith saves it. There's Mike Rasmus there. See if we can find the 25. There's Alex Bates. And that 25 machine just coming to a completely sliding stop.
So 5 cars ultimately involved in the incident. 3 of them let's say 4 of them able to save it before taking a chaotic amount of damage, all starting around that 59 and the 12 machine. It looks like it was a pass attempt that failed, or maybe a checkup that happened somewhere. But either way, those cars made contact. It could have caused the big one, but able to get through, and everyone gets through safely and without ruining their nights.
Not so fortunate of a time here. Jonathan Hernandez, probably the hardest contact of anybody there, him and Alex Bates. You see the wild ride he had there.
and definitely some front end damage on the number 1 machine of Jonathan Hernandez. He will need to have that looked at by his crew when he comes down pit road this time by. Again, as we took a look one more time here, let's take a look now on the 25 of Alex Bates to kind of see what happened in front of him as they come around.
Now, right on board here, we'll take off the ticker here and just kind of show you what happens. It's a bad bump. Everyone checks up. That's not a good sign to see when you start seeing more. When you start seeing more asphalt than sky, that's how you know you're in a pretty bad situation. There's more content there. You saw Hernandez. You know where Hernandez could go on that. All around, just rough there.
So 4 cars involved. Everyone who did not come down pit road that time will come down this time around for maybe 4 new tires, definitely a full tank of fuel, and that does hurt all the drivers who came down earlier under green flag. They may still be, some of them may still be a lap down if they did not already come back and get their lap back. So we'll have to see how everything shakes out as the pit road finishes, as pit service finishes for each of these drivers. Right now, it looks like the 42, the 24, and 00 will be your leaders. But again, let's see how everything shakes out once we come back around, once we have that verification of the running order from race control.
So those that pit on lap 19 and stayed out: Nick Doucette, Christina Ryan, Parker Alexander, Sean Peleg, Mark Parkhurst, and DJ Trout. They're at the front of the field here. They did not go a lap down, and they did not come down pit lane this time by. So they're pretty content with where they're at right now. They think that everyone's still got a pretty easy one-stop race ahead of them. They're going to save some fuel while they can. Again, the goal is to make it to about lap 42. That's when you can guarantee you can make it to the end of the race and also cover that overtime finish if possible, like green-white checkered. There's only one of them in this race. 42, make sure you get there.
I was about to say, you're absolutely right. Under the current rules, there is only one attempt at a green-white checkered finish. It looks like we have at least one wave around. The 42 machine that belongs to Zach Campbell. He's going to get the wave around this time by. So when we come back to green flag racing, we'll have several cars running up front, and it looks like at least a handful that are going to get be one lap down. Check that. It's a 42 of Evan Lack, I say, that gets the wave around, and he'll be back on the lead lap when we go to green flag racing.
So he is still one lap down, it looks like here. It looks like he lost 2 laps early. Not sure what's caused him to lose those 2 laps. He's still 1 down here, hence the wave around. He did not get the free pass in that go around. So it looks like we're going to see 42 cars on the lead lap, and then Evan Lack, obviously the 1 car off the lead lap at the moment. Still 42 cars on lead lap, despite 2 cautions that could have been very, very ugly. Not that bad. It looks like Evan Lack sped on pit lane under green flag pit stops. That's what happened to him, so that's why he is off the lead lap at the moment.
Lights are off on the pace car, which means we're going to go one more time, well, in about a half a lap now, before we're back to green flag racing, and they will be at the command of Nick Doucette in the 24. Right behind him will be the 00 of Chrissy Ryan. We know she's hungry for a win, has in 18 starts. Her best finish is a 1 top 5 and 4 top 10s, so we know she is hungry out there. The 5 machine of Parker Alexander will start position number 3. Behind him, what would be a Hendrick teammate in the 48 machine. That belongs to Sean Peleg. And start rounding out your top 5. That is going to be the 04 of Mark Parkhurst.
Yeah, Mark Parkhurst. Then you have the 96 of DJ Trout. Zach Campbell, the pole sitter, in 7th. Jose Solis Jr. in 8th. Timothy Latham in 9th. Gabriel Mauricio, silver bullet, in the top 10. Is he ready to go?
Pace car makes a left turn down pit road. 2 drivers up front, and the 24 will lead them down. Green flag flies, and as the 42 gets past, still remains a couple laps down. It'll all belong to the drivers up front. Oh, look, now we got a lot of drivers with an extra car down there are getting bold. They want to start the low line early. Chrissy Ryan wants to lead them down there, and it's a two-lane race one more time.
2-lane race. The 5 of Parker Alexander walked right behind Christina Ryan. Chevrolet's front of the field. Christina Ryan looking for her first lap sled here at Daytona. Would like to start the season well. currently doing so at the moment. Hendrick cars all over the top 10 with the Aaron Dream Machine, the 00, trying to lead laps at Daytona. There's a lot of things that Machine has done. Hey, Winstel Cup Series win isn't one of them.
About to say, crossover now from the 5 machine, as the 5 wants to take away the dream of the Dream Machine. I think everyone's dream tonight is to walk away from this race a winner and put your name on that virtual trophy and stamp your name on the series, in the series in their 2004 season. But Ryan is not giving up. Ryan is holding strong around those 3, what would be the 3 Hendricks cars, trying to keep them out for position. Side by side, they continue to run. Outside line has the advantage, but they could be broken up as now the 41 goes inside, making it a 3-wide race.
Whoa, trouble. Solace in the wall. Solace in the wall. Hip check there by the 96 of DJ Trout. Solace will drop out of the top 10 there, but they all keep it straight and narrow. That could have been nightmare fuel for most of the field, as far forward as that was in the field. That's how bad this track is when you're 3 wide in those corners. It's so hard to keep them straight and pointed in the right direction, but everyone does so. Christina Ryan drops down into the outside lane. Zach Campbell made a 3-wide move like we saw with Ali Osman, but now Zach Campbell back in the top 4.
So side by side, they continue to go. Everybody getting a little scrappy now. We're on lap 28 of 60. They know that we're about halfway through this race. And even though it is a long race, even though it is a bit of a slog at times, these laps will go by very, very fast when we're not under caution. It takes about 2 minutes to get around at caution speeds, but going nearly 200 miles per hour around this track, or look quite close to it, 195, 196 when you're in traffic. These laps tick off faster than you think, as we have a caution flag, several cars on the track.
Yeah, huge incident there. Looks like it's Brandon Cruz, Ali Osman involved. This is Alex Bates we're looking at center of your screen. That's the 12 of Mo Perry involved again. Brandon McKissick, Larry Pace, Olivia Hayward looks like involved as well. Several cars involved. There's Olivia Hayward in the 36. That car looks pretty crunched up with the front end. Third caution of the night. And this is further back in the field, it looks like. Christian Budd, it looks like, is where it started, the 17 machine. So let's see if we can jump to him real quick. He is still 16th, so whatever happened to him, it ended up affecting everyone behind him here.
So let's take a look at the replay here, see exactly where the trouble started, Carmen.
So obviously 3 wide here, not fun. Obviously you see a car already in the wall there. It looks like that is the M&M's machine. Further back, it's behind DJ Trout, just about wherever we saw everything there. And obviously the caution's already happening because there's Olivia Hayward who's already been turned. So we actually have to rewind that a little bit and kind of see what happened here. Oh, big bump there. That is Craig Lautenschlager being bumped there by the 38. Let's slow motion here.
And I'm not sure if this is net code or if this is physical contact. It looks like, nope,
that's physical contact. All the way through physical contact there between the 4 teammates there running the Roush machines. Olivia Hayward trying to keep it pointing in the right direction. There's Larry Pace, who's already been involved in 1 caution. There's Ali Osman in the 30, trying to find his way through. Play at full speed here because it gets a little bit ugly. And obviously it looks like the 31 and the 25 wreck on their own. And then 37 of McKissick gets involved in that as well.
So 6 cars involved, 4 taking some form of damage here, and this could be the end of some of these drivers. Some of the drivers taking as much as 3 minutes of repairs in optional repairs. That could really affect where they end up in this race.
Yeah, we'll have to go back and rewind this a little bit and kind of see where all this kind of generates here. Again, most of the field is really bunched up here. You see this in the wide shot here. Let's go on board with Olivia Hayward and kind of just see what happens here. Obviously not where she wanted to be. Let's see what happens here. Now 41st. She was in the top 30 at this point. Yeah, see the contact in the 99. Just gets turned slightly right at the wrong moment there for Olivia Hayward. You see there's a contact there. The 49 also in it as well. That's Andrew Griesbaum involved in that.
So Olivia Hayward definitely going to take some damage as a result of that. That could be her race. That could definitely very easily be the race that her race out there. As now let's take a look from the one of Jonathan Hernandez.
Yeah, he's going to drive through and kind of see everything happen around him here. It looks like Olivia's not out of this race. Looks like there's still some damage. They're going to try to get that thing repaired here and not leave that car on lead lap here in case more troubles do happen here. Really good avoidance there by the one of Hernandez, who was involved in the last caution. That is hold your breath and hope it sticks moment there for Hernandez and the 23 as well. The 23 had a really good avoidance there as well, I believe. See if we can get an idea on who that 23 is real quick. Get you a beat on that. That would have been Rory Collins. That had a really good save as well.
So Jonathan Hernandez, who was involved in an incident earlier, will stay on the track, able to avoid that with some ease, as now we are officially halfway through this race. Currently being scored as your leader, Parker Alexander in the number 5 machine, the 24 of Nick Doucette right behind him, the 38, or check that, the 48 belongs to Sean Peleg, will be your top 3. Gamble and Latham round out your top 5. Very interesting mix-up up front as we go halfway. Now the question is, how much gas have they saved by having these caution laps, and will they be able to apply that towards their end race strategy?
I don't think it's enough to save it and cut out a pit stop there, but it definitely does make it a lot easier to make that window. I would say that it's probably pushed the window back a good 5-6 laps. So instead of pitting about lap 40, they probably easily go about to lap 45, 46-ish. It's a very easy, still one-stop call from here. Just run that tank out and then have a really good 15-lap sprint to the finish here.
It will have an effect. This good news is for some of these drivers, this caution flag period will have an effect on their gas mileage. The bad news is it's a matter of how much they can do. If they want to comfortably finish this race, they've got to make it to lap 42, which I think they can confidently do. Now the question is, when do you come down? With this extra safe fuel, do you come down right at lap 42? Do you come down at lap 44? Or do you gamble on the green-white checkered finish and come down even a little bit later? All these questions will be answered as the Price car makes a hard left turn down pit road, and we are in the control of that number 5 machine of Parker Alexander. Green flag flies to the 24 all over his bumper. We're back to green flag racing. Let's see who's the first one to jump down low. It will be the 41 machine of Zach Campbell.
Yeah, Campbell jumped down there pretty quickly, and the Hendrick teammates there lazily left Peleg out to dry. 4 Hendrick cars out of the 5 in the top 5. Latham in the 84, also a part of that Hendrick camp. The only car not in that group is the 25 of Alex Bates, who's been involved in 2 cautions in a row now in that 25 car. Keep an eye on the 77, that's Davin Cornelius. Made up his way forward to the top 5 of 16 spots.
12 cars starting to break away from the field. They could start their own draft. The line, though, needs a little bit of help. It has been the faster line all night long, but let's see if they can keep it that way without many more help from drivers on that outside line. The 5 continues to lead. He will continue to take that lead, dominating
Caution's
by less than a car length over the 48.
It's caution out. Olivia Hayward in trouble. It's like Olivia Hayward.
No.
A lot of trouble here for Olivia Hayward. She's not the only one, but you see that car went from bad to worse. Hayden Repas, 89. Not a great turn of form there for Hayden. Obviously started this race at the back of the field, has not made his way forward. We'll figure out what happened here in just a moment. Looks like the 42 Evan Locke also involved here. Oh, this is going to be rough.
Let's take a look at that replay now. It's the 42 and the 89 looking at the 42 and the 36 of Olivia Hayward. As we move forward here, it looks like the 36 thought the line was open. The line was not, got hooked on the bumper of the 42, and will go head first into the wall coming off of the turn 4, going into the trial oval. That front end is damaged. That could be Olivia Hayward's night.
Yeah, riding on board here with Olivia Hayward. This is just not a good look here. Obviously, riding on board. See if we can get above cam. Look here for Olivia Hayward. You see, like, she immediately knew she was getting hooked there, and she tried to turn to the outside lane. Just nothing she could do on that.
Yeah, unfortunately, no place to go, nowhere to go in that one. You just have to go for the ride. And regardless of what it was, regardless of if she was trying to go up to the high line, if the car just washed up on her, either way, that's some serious damage. And again, that could be the end of her night. This is one of those things that makes you grateful that it's virtual racing and not real racing, because if this were real racing, especially in those older cars, that would have been a beating that would definitely have hurt and sent her to the infield care center.
Yeah, obviously Hayden had nothing to do with that. Just kind of got clipped in it. And it's going to be unfortunate riding on board with him. The 89 going to have a wild time backing it up here so you can kind of see the 36 already managing damage as well. Just unloads on the exit at the worst possible time. And trouble there for the 89. Wrapped around there. And that's going to be almost night done. Hayden now in pit lane here. This is live pictures on your screen now as we look at everything going on at the moment. And Olivia Hayward's race is over here tonight. It'll be on Parker Alexander leading the way.
More ABN action coming up on ABN 1 this week. I believe it's Tuesday. Is it Tuesday? We're going to be live once again here for the ABN Champ Car World Series. Be driving at Las Vegas, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. That will be right here. I'm sorry, check that Wednesday. The ABR Champ Car Series will be live here on ABN 1. The HTL National Series coming to you live Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific from Bristol Motor Speedway. And rounding out your calendar, your Saturday, the PEC taking place at 7 a.m. Eastern, 4 a.m. Pacific at Monza. That's definitely a series. If you love road racing, if you love fast road racing, you won't want to miss that. Grab your coffee and join us real early in the morning for ABN's presentation of the PEC at Monza.
Yeah, 8 hours there on Saturday. Going to be a long race there as well. The HTL National Series later that night. So it's going to be a very busy weekend going through here. Obviously tonight we're at Daytona, and obviously on ABN 2 at Phoenix there, the Midwest Barbecue Ace for a Cup Series. A lot of off time in between. Going to need it to charge up there for the weekend. Obviously Champ Car Las Vegas going to be a lot of fun here as Parker Alexander comes down pit lane. But yeah, a lot of fun here. Vegas coming up here on Wednesday. But hopefully everyone joins us there for that one. But obviously we still have a lot of good racing here coming up as Davin Cornelius now leads the way as he's ready to go back green here.
One more time around this 2.5-mile tri-oval, the 77 machine of Davin Cornelius. I'm sorry, 77 of Davin Cornelius. Last season finished 63rd with only 2 starts on his season, with a best finish of 22nd. Looking to redeem himself tonight by winning the opening race here at Daytona. Behind him, the 41 of Zach Campbell will start immediately behind him in second. James Bowles in third. The Silver Bullet Coors Light machine of Gabriel Mauricio will start fourth, and the Zero machine, the Zero of Corey Cook, the Winstel Cup Series rookie, starts in your top 5.
Dylan Roberts there in 6th. Started this race in 4th. Still a contender so far in this race. Kind of just trying to figure out the lanes. What lane is he want to be in here tonight? Chris Champeau in the 18, sitting in the 7th position. Jose Solis Jr. in the 29 in 8th. Thomas Lewandowski started 24th, up to the top 10 in 9th place right there. And then Jeffrey McClintock in the 45 in 10th. Emily Howe, Winstel 400 champion this year, in 11th. And look at that, Christina Ryan in 12th. Keep an eye on those two, the 50 and the 00. They're going to try to work together to get to the front of the field. It's going to be interesting to see how quickly they can make their way at least into the top 10 here with less than 25 laps to go. We've also seen how hard it is to actually make moves here in this field. So it's going to be interesting to see how they handle that. If anyone can move forward, it's going to be that duo there. A lot of communication, a lot of knowledge there between those two. Tyler Murray in 13th, Christian Budd in 14th position, and then Brendan McKee, who's led laps tonight, he sits 15th ahead of Aaron Smith, Craig Lautenslager, Larry Pace. Larry Pace in the 18th position. Then it's Alex Bates and Sean Peleg, your top 20.
Pace car will make the hard left turn down pit road, this time by. All eyes are on the 77 of Cornelius as the green flag flies one more time. More than halfway this race done, Cornelius immediately drops down to the bottom, opening up the high line for the 41 and company. Will the bottom line remain the fastest? More cars trying to elect to go down there, but it's now 4x4 going through the, I'm sorry, 4x6 going through the turns 1 and 2, the 41 in the lead.
Campbell, pole sitter tonight. Started this race at the front of the field, trying to hold off Davin Cornelius, who finished 31st in this race last season. Trying to add something to it, keep an eye 3 wide, further behind. That is the 21 of Lewandowski on the outside of the 40 of Mauricio. And that's so hard to do.
Lewandowski trying to hold on in that top line. Nobody joining him out there, so he may be hung out to dry. Decides to go back into the middle line. No, he's going to stay up high. He's going to try to work it all by himself, but with nobody to help him, he may be stuck for a little bit out there. Holds the position now, but will he hold on through turns 1 and 2?
Yeah, it's a big question there for Lewandowski. Everyone's giving him a lot of space because they don't want to be out there. They don't want to be stuck out there. It's not how you have a long and successful race here at Daytona if you're spending a lot of time in that through-wet situation. So no one's going to help him. Everyone's going to kind of let him fall backwards here. Looks like another car is going to go to the outside. That is McGee. It does look like the 9 of McGee making his way close to the front, and the 59 of Aaron Smith. So there is going to be some help. The cavalry is arriving, but that's going to be not a lot of help.
The 41 had a big wiggle on the backstretch. You know they're getting racy. You know they're getting a little jumpy out here with time running out. Currently running lap 38 of 60. Only a handful left to go. 21 or 22, if my count is correct, as a third line. Now starting to form up. Now we've got some drivers up there, and we got some smoke up there as well. Maybe a couple made contact with the wall. Yeah,
it looks like that would have been, I believe, Kyle Benson that has hit the wall there a little bit. Benson did tag the wall there just a second. You see that M&M's machine has scuffed the wall just a little bit there. Now falls behind Justin Howell. The inside lane also checking up. That's 33 of Murray, the 30 of Osman, and then the 88 in that row as well. I believe that is Drew White in the 88 machine, running right down the inside lane, that UPS machine. A little further back, everyone checking up there, and you see 3 wide at the front of the field. You want to talk about Lewandowski getting help? He's got help now. McGee's right there with them and almost to the front of the field, but now they're all over the place.
Bouncing side by side, definitely seeing a little bit of smoke on the track. Oh, and we got a little bit of issue there. Little technical difficulties, as it were. We might have a caution out.
Yeah, we do have a caution out. A lot of issues here. A lot of connection issues here. Looks like that is Andrew Griesbaum. He was in 34th position.
Folks, we apologize for the technical difficulties we're experiencing. We are under a caution flag right now, and we're trying to sort out what exactly happened. It may have started around the 49 of Griesbaum.
It happens ahead of Griesbaum, actually. It happens with the 97, actually. That is Michael O'Brien. And you see that's where the latency issues takes its place here. But Michael O'Brien, I don't know if the latency issues caused that issue. Obviously, you see everyone blinking back and forth here. Well, let's actually go back and look at what happens here. Looks like the 89 may have gotten into him. Looking further back here.
Possibly the 37 of McKissick got into him going into the turn.
Yeah, it would be McKissick. The 89's a little further back here in this running order. Does the 97 get loose on his own? No, he's checking up here for the 6. Because he sees
the 37,
smoke.
Yep. The 37, nowhere to go. Just takes the 97 on a ride. And that is going to start the chain reaction towards the back of the field. The 5 narrowly avoids it. The 25 narrowly avoids it. A lot of guys could have been caught up in that, and that could have been trouble.
Yeah, Michael O'Brien in pit lane. It looks like whatever the connection issues were there at the moment, they are behind us, I would say. But now a lot of cars coming down pit lane, and this is very important. This is the pit stop that would make them good to go to the finish of the race.
to the finish of the race, but not necessarily to overdrive. The 41 of Zach Campbell currently leading all these guys down. The 8, the 9, the 40, all coming down the attention of their crews, and this is going to be a fast one, ladies and gentlemen. This should be gas only. 2 tires if you're feeling plucky before you get down and away from these crews and back onto the track.
Yeah, looks like latency issue coming back here. Looks like they were stable for a moment. Wonder if this is an issue everyone's having or if it's just on our end here. But Evan Locke will get a free pass here out of this. So he's going to be pretty well steady. And it seems like... Don't know if he's going to be on the lead lap or not. He is not going to be lead lap. He is still pretty well pinned off the lead lap here. As you watch everyone roll their way through. He's going to be, I think he is now 1 lap down, I do believe. So he's on one of his 2 laps back here. Obviously, he was involved in the last caution, so he wouldn't have gotten that lap back on that caution. But now he has get one hit back here. Brandon Cruz, Evan Mellinson, and Ken Huff still in the pit lane at the moment.
All getting damage repaired for each of those drivers. Still trying to get word if this is a bigger issue that all the drivers are facing or if it's just a one-off from our side. Again, we apologize for the technical difficulties. In the lead is a driver who made that big run to start everything and is now rewarded for being bold. Thomas Lewandowski sitting first on the field, and he will lead them back to the green flag when the pace car turns its lights off.
Yeah, Lewandowski very bold there and very confident in that decision to go to the outside lane and make it 3 wide. And he had a lot of help there. Brennan McGee paid out well for him as well. Emily Howe there in the top 6 in the meantime as well. Christina Ryan in the top 10. James Bowles in the 01. He spent a little bit of time there on the outside lane. Yeah, Jose Solis Jr., who was not afraid to mix it up there and make it 3 wide. As we are 1 to green on this restart here. It's Lewandowski leading the way over Zach Campbell, who once again, he's been up to the front of the race just about all race long. Just can't really hold on to that race lead. It's going to be hard to do here, but now he's in the catbird seat. Because like it was last time, he was able to determine who made it to the inside and who wasn't. So he'll be easy to sort of figure out where he's going to move here, because he's not going to stay behind Lewandowski for very long.
And you see him going as low as he can on the track without losing the pace. It looks like he might be trying to save a little bit of fuel out there in his car, letting it coast and only firing it up when he needs to. Interesting move. We'll see if he gets rewarded for that later down the race. Dylan Roberts, who's been leading, will restart in position number 3. Brendan McGee, also a previous leader, will restart in position number 4. And then look who's behind him. Gabriel Mauricio in the top 5. Behind them, it's going to be, I believe, Emily Howe, correct. Emily Howe, your Winstel 400 winner in position number 6, and Sean Peleg, position number 7. So some drivers who are very, very good at this kind of racing, drivers who know what they're doing. They're going to try to make a big run here and see if they can close out the race with some winning laps.
Yeah, it's going to be very important now. Obviously, we're into the last, I think we're coming to 17 laps to go here. Everyone has pretty well made their pit stops in this race that are trying to take them to the end. Zach Campbell saving fuel because he's anticipating that green white checker that we talked about. You talk about how fuel's going to be important there. Campbell knows it, and he's expecting it. So some drivers are planning for it and preparing for it. Those that are could have an advantage here on that last restart because they're going to have the track position if everyone else has to come down pit lane.
I think all the drivers are hopeful that pit stops will be over at this time as the pace car makes a hard left turn down pit road. And now the 21 machine that belongs to Tom Lewandowski. He will take the green flag for his first time tonight, and he will lead everybody to into turns 1 and 2. He elects to go low, now trying to defend high. It looks like he's trying to straddle both lanes a little bit, seeing if he can stop the onslaught of drivers behind him. Nobody goes low. Everyone's going to be high, led by the 41.
Yeah, no one's going to want to go and work with Lewandowski right now. But obviously, I don't think Lewandowski's too worried about that. He was able to make his own lane before. He was just trying to make it more difficult on Campbell. If Campbell was going to go down low, he wasn't going to have a lot of room to do it. Campbell instead elected to go high, forced Lewandowski to the bottom. Lewandowski not too upset by that, because now he's got the ability to move back forward like what he's doing right now. You see that momentum shift in favor of that inside line. Now that they've got some cars in it, it's going to be an interesting little drag race here to get to 16 to go.
No love from the high side. Low line has more amount of cars right now, and that's the 21, a car length ahead of the 21, leading by a car length over the 41 out there and continuing to run strong. So this is now Lewandowski's race to lose, especially if we go green the rest of the way. He might have the fuel to finish this race. The question is who has the courage to challenge him in position number 1 as his lead grows.
Right now, Lewandowski controlling the inside lane, Pele behind him. Then it's James Bowles, Zach Campbell, Dylan Roberts, Timothy Latham in the top 6. Christian Budd, keep an eye on him. That 17 car a little bit further back, as that inside lane is now charging forward.
Inside lane charging forward, 5 car lengths now, the difference between first and second. No, the 0-1 machine, that is James Bowles. He's going to now try the outside line, see if he can make some moves going into turns 1 and 2. Lewandowski continues to run, but he's now got some competition side by side with the 0-1.
Yeah, Lewandowski, Bowles side by side here, a little bit of latency once again, but it is on broadcast side. So we're trying to diagnose those issues as we go with it here. Seems like it's only temporary, but it's not affecting the drivers at all. Bowles and Lewandowski battling for the race lead now. Bowles has not yet led a lap in this race. Would love to do so in that 01 U.S. Army Chevrolet. He's got help from Latham. It's Hendrick Racing Machines powering both lanes.
And 0-1 getting a little dangerously close to 21 there, going into the tri-oval. Did not make contact, but definitely made some moves. Now on the outside, the 8 looks like they're going to start a run for the third line, see if they can get some moves going on the outside. We've seen it work before. We've seen it work, the high line work very easily before. Now the question is, who's going to jump up there with them? Who's going to work with the third line and see if they can charge their way to the front? It can be done. The question is, who's going to do it?
Yeah, a little bit of latency once again, and we apologize for the technical difficulties we're experiencing right now. Right now, it is Bowles. The inside lane now.
So the 21 continues to lead, the 8 in the middle, the 84 on the far outside lane. We are 3 wide going into turns 1 and 2, and you can throw a blanket in front of those 3.
Whoa, trouble.
That's how close they are. Now we got trouble on the track. This is a big one.
Huge incident there. Obviously, latency not making this any easier for us, but a huge incident here. That's the 88 of Drew White. McKissick, Ryan, Cook, McClintock, Cornelius, Perry, Ryan DeSette all involved.
It may be easier to say who wasn't involved in that incident. It looks like about 12th, 13th back, everybody got a piece of that one, and I'm not exactly sure if it was the middle line that started it or if it was just aggressive driving. Either way, a lot of drivers now have to contend with damage as they come down to the final laps.
Obviously, some replays a little bit harder to find. Obviously, with the technical issue that we're experiencing right now, we may try to fix that while we're under the caution here. But a huge number of cars are involved in this incident. You talk about the 3 wide that was going 10 rows deep. And it looks like, confirming here, the 88 of Drew White got put into the fence and then got punted in that 3 wide situation there. And obviously, Drew White now in pit lane. Everyone else will try to hold on here tight as we get ready to go. We will step aside for a moment and try to fix this technical issue while we have it up and running, and hopefully try to get a replay of that issue. But right now it is Timothy Latham, Thomas Lewandowski, Dylan Roberts, Nick Doucette, and Sean Pele leading the way at the moment as we pull everything up here. Just an absolutely wild turn of events here. That was the big one, if you're going to see one. And obviously now it's going to make it a just about a 10-lap sprint at the end of this race. It's going to be very difficult here to really make things happen. Going into this, I believe we may have fixed the issue. We'll see. As we pull everything right back on here. See if we have more stability here. And then try to go back and look at this caution. I see right now you're looking at Christian Budd, who's up 6 spots from where he started this race. We need to go all the way down to Drew White to see where all of this took place. Drew White now in the 40th position. Not going to be easy to find. Obviously, a little bit of latency here. This is as it was. This is as we recorded it. And you see the issue there. Obviously, a lot of latency. But you see all the cars involved at the time. Drew White, obviously, where the epicenter started. Obviously, that technical issue, not that way anymore. Obviously, everyone on track now. We can see everyone.
So the 88 gets punted around and causes the big one. Everyone from about 13th back definitely has either a little bit of damage or is very rattled from that incident. As we get ready to go back to green flag racing, it'll be should be about a 9-lap sprint when we get back to green flag racing. Engine damage for the number 9, we're being told as well. Brendan McGee, he just got back up there and was involved in that incident, and that's some engine damage, and that will cause his night to end. So now leading the race is the 84 machine. That belongs to Timothy Latham. 29th finishing 29th in last season's standings. He's looking for a big win here tonight. Of course, the 21 of Thomas Lewandowski, who finished 21st last season, wants to spoil that and pick up this win. It'll be a single file restart when we come back around. And so it'll be, like I said, about 9 laps to determine who wins this race.
Yeah, Latham, Lewandowski, you see there in 2nd place. Dylan Roberts there in 3rd. The Dale helmet for the number 8 machine. It's going to be interesting to see if that car gets the victory lane there. Obviously, could be interesting to see if that white number red can get to victory lane. Nick Doucette behind Sean Peleg. So there's Peleg in 5th. Nick Doucette in the 24 in 4th. Christian Budd in 6th. All these drivers, importantly, are up from where they started this race. First driver down, Zach Campbell started this race on pole in 7th, but still in the top 10, has not left it here in this race.
Staying strong in the top 10. He's got a big shot to win this race. There's a 30 machine we saw earlier, Ali Osmond, who made that bold move in the middle lane to claim some real estate as well. Definitely a shot there. Definitely an outside shot for him as well. Larry Pace in 11th. It looks like behind him is going to be the 18 of Chris Champeau up there. The 59 also, don't count the 59 out yet. Aaron Smith is in the mix as well. Mike Rasmus, currently 14th, started 32nd. He's having a great race out there in the number 6 machine. And in the top 15, the number 5 of Parker Alexander.
Yeah, not a great run. Emily Howe down in 16th, was in the top 10 when that incident took place. Now sitting from the outside of it, trying to make inroads to get back in. The Winstel 400 champion looking to work with her brother, Justin Howe. Obviously in front of Kyle Benson, that is the 22 at Justin Howe. In the 22, getting confirmation that Kyle Benson is in the 38. This is just a graphic error because he was listed as 16 initially. They just hadn't fixed it. So Vincent will be in the 38. So his graphic, his car is correct. Ours was wrong. Jonathan Hernandez in the 1. Obviously everything as is there for Hernandez, involved in one of the cautions in this race in the 19th position. Jose Solis Jr. not a happy camper right now. 20th place after starting in the top 10. Then it's Brandon McKissick and Christina Ryan, the top 22 as we get ready to go.
Pace cars made the hard left turn down pit road. We are back in front to the 84. Sees the green flag flying. 9 to go when we hit the start-finish line. The 84 in control of the field. Is he going to go high? Is he going to go low? He's going to elect to go low. Lewandowski goes with him, leaving a cadre of cars up front, led by the 8 of Dylan Roberts.
Roberts in the outside lane. That 8 car has been in this position before, with help from the 24 and the 48. And there's a small breakaway. Obviously some drivers with damage now in this field, mixing it up. Acting almost like a reservoir or a dam, is sort of blockading the flow of traffic.
Top line continues to be the dominant line as we have once again issues, but it's 8 leading with a 24 and 48 behind him. Meanwhile, it looks like the 84 is still fighting back on that low side. The problem is he doesn't have nearly as many horses that the outside line does. The 8 of Dylan Roberts leads with 8 to go, but it still could be anybody's race if that low line gets a little bit more support.
see a lot of cars here, and that's why caution's out. Again, caution's out. Brandon McKissick and Davin Cornelius. Cornelius on pit lane now, and that car is all sorts of destroyed.
Davin Cornelius, who was at one point in contention for the lead, we're being told the motor just blew up on one of those cars to cause the big incident and take out Davin Cornelius and others.
Looks like McKissick there. Looks like Brendan McGee's engine is completely done.
Yeah, McGee was done. McGee was done in the earlier caution, so McGee is completely done from this race. It looks like the 77 is destroyed as well. So at least two more cars joining the DNFs.
It's like Brandon Cruz also with issues there. I don't see a lot of damage on that number 20 machine. Let's see Brandon McKissick in that 37 machine. His car is
nominal damage, but not a whole lot.
Obviously, we're going to see a lot of latency here as this caution comes out. And yeah, that is McKissick getting turned. And the Jose Solis Jr. Justin Howe in that mix as well. Just unfortunate there.
It's just a product of hard racing, though. When time is of a premium, when everything is on the line, you don't want to say you played it conservative and came home 8th, 9th, 10th. You want to have a shot at winning this race and really getting that momentum going for the remainder of your season. So tonight, these guys are still going to do everything they can to get this win, to be competitive for the win, and set a precedent for what happens the rest of the season. Your current top 5 as they run under caution: the 8 machine of Dylan Roberts. Behind him, the 84 machine that belongs to Timothy Latham. The 24 of Nick Doucette will be in 3rd. Tom Lewandowski in the 21. That long-standing Wood Brothers machine will be in 4th. Bud now, the 17 in 6th. The 41 of Campbell belongs in 7th. The 40 of Gabriel Mauricio in 8th. The 01 machine of James Bowles in 9th. And the Ali Osman in the number 30 machine rounds out your top 10. We should have about 3 or 4 laps to go when we go back to green flag racing. So this could effectively be the first attempt at a green-white checkered finish. Just as a reminder, as the rules dictate, there will be only one attempt at a green-white finish, overdrive finish. If we cannot get it sorted before lap 60 and the caution comes out before lap 60, they will try one attempt at the green-white checkered finish. After that, wherever the cars end up, that is where the race will end.
Yeah, it's going to be a very interesting sort of development here as we get everything ready to go once more. Again, Brandon McKissick in pit lane. Significant repairs needed for that car.
So when we go back to green flag racing, it will be 4 to go. They will be in the control of the 8 of Dylan Roberts. Single file restart. So we will have 3 laps of green flag racing, 1 white flag and 1 checkered flag when we go. Now, again, if there's a caution comes out at any time after the green comes out, they are going to go to their one attempt at overdrive.
And that is also the point of no return. That's something else that needs to be kind of explained there a little bit. The point of no return, the overtime attempt, the green-white checkered, once that overtime attempt takes place, there's no more cautions. This race will not end under yellow. That one overtime attempt, once you go green, that's it. It's 2 laps, a sprint, to figure it all out. So these drivers know that. They know the insanity that can come from it. So going to be interesting to see how these drivers handle that pressure with 2 laps to go with everything on the line here at Daytona.
So it will be the 8 of Dylan Roberts. He's been up and down all race long, now in control of the field. And the big question is, Carmen, if you're that 8 machine, do you stay high? Do you ride the line that's had the most momentum for the race, or do you duck down low, hoping that some drivers will come help you at the end? My intuition says stay high, or just start doing some rear view mirror racing where you're looking at the car behind you, trying to block them in order to keep your momentum. But I don't know. It's going to be a tough decision either way.
It's never going to be easy because as the race leader coming to a restart, you're always a sitting duck. It's a single file restart as well, so no one's required to help you at this point. You're not putting someone in a box and they have to just push you forward. Single file restart, this is where the track gets really wide, when there's only one car in front of you. The track's as wide as you want it to be. Unfortunately for Roberts, that means that Latham, Doucette, and Peleg, the 3 Hendrick cars there in the top 5, they're probably going to link up and they're probably going to leave him for dirt. But they also have Lewandowski. Does Lewandowski try to help here? What about Christian Budd? What about Zach Campbell, Gabriel Mauricio, James Bowles, Ali Osman in that top 10? It's going to be very interesting to see how that all plays out.
Pace car should make the hard left turn down pit road this time by. There it goes. And the 8 machine all up to the 8 of Dylan Roberts as we get ready to go back green flag racing for what could be the last time. 4 to go as they hit the line. The 8 in control of the field. The 84 immediately behind him. And now Lewandowski, the first one to go to the bottom side. He's going to be joined by the 17, it looks like. And the high line continues to be where the momentum is.
Yeah, Lewandowski made the move first. Everyone's sticking right now with Dylan Roberts, except for the Dodges moving to the middle of the field. That's Campbell and Mauricio, the 41 and the 40. Roberts.
3 wide now as the 8 will jump down to the middle, trying to do some blocking on the inside or the middle line as well. Looks like he's going to be flanked by the 40 machine. The 8 now in third as the target machine. The 41, I believe, is now your leader.
Yeah, Zach Campbell leads the way. Sorry for technical issues once again as they try to get that resolved. It is Zach Campbell leading the way, but struggles all the way forward here.
3 laps to go. Now it's a 40 machine that belongs to Gabriel Mauricio. Looks like they're going to be in the lead as they continue to run around.
Caution's
3
out.
wide.
Caution's out once again. Parkhurst, Benson, and you see so many cars involved. So many cars involved.
That looks like it could have been the bigger one, as it were. Mauricio still being credited as your leader, and a lot of carnage and chaos behind him. I did see the 8 get involved. I did see, I believe, the 5 get involved as well. Not sure if the 21 was in the mix as well, but several cars getting mixed up in that one. Now, we'll have to go through and sort through all of that. The one car I'm being told that did not get hooked in that is Hernandez, able to find his way through that chaos somehow, and that should play very well for their hand as we get ready to go back to green flag racing. That was a crazy crash.
Yeah, I was trying to get a replay here, obviously trying to still undergo those technical issues as well, unfortunately plaguing us here so far tonight. Have to check the weather, see if there's maybe weather interference with the connection issues going on here. Let's see if we can go back and look at this. This is yellow flag lap here. Obviously it's going to be very spotty at best here. Obviously you see the little net code there really hindering us there, and obviously you see the little bit of an idea of the carnage. Let's see if we can pause it here for a moment.
Carmen, I'm being told there's the 24 of Nick Doucette that started that chain reaction off. Looks like Nick Doucette tried to give a bad push to help some people move forward. The problem is they didn't make that push square. And as we talked about with this track, be going side to side, making it very slippery to manage these cars with a loose setup. That just causes a chain reaction and creates all kinds of chaos behind him. And again, it may be easier to talk about who wasn't involved in this than who was involved, because it looks like everybody who wasn't running up front in that first group may have been involved. No, it's going to be the 84 also involved by the 24. I'm seeing that as well. The 84 may have gotten a bad push from the 24.
Yeah, that was. The 84 was being pushed by the 24 there on the outside lane, and it blocked the entire track up. So it's going to be easier to kind of see who wasn't involved in that wreck. There's your idea. Gabriel Mauricio and Zach Campbell, two of the drivers that made it through. They were on the very inside lane. Same with Thomas Lewandowski. Nick Doucette, who's in that 4th spot. Keep an eye on that number 24. He stayed out here. Overtime underway. When we go green, this is where the point of no return hits us. Doucette, a lot of damage. You see the damage on the number 24 machine. Ali Osman looks like he's got a little bit of damage on the front of that car, but not too off much. Could still be ready to go there. Dylan Roberts, a little bit of damage on the number 8 as well. Hopefully it doesn't alter him too awful much there. Aaron Smith looks ready to go though. Sitting right there behind the number 8 machine. Let's sort of just look at what the front end of these cars look like. Parker Alexander, he looks pretty well good to go. In the number 5 machine, Chris Champeau, he looks pretty good to go as well. Emily Howe looks pretty good to go there as well. Jose Solis Jr. does not look quite so ready, but that I don't think came from this current incident.
So now what happens is the one thing all of the drivers were hoping to avoid. What happens now is that overdrive green, white, checkered finish, which means it'll be 2 laps, no caution flags. Whoever's standing at the end of those 2 laps is crowned your winner here at Daytona. If I'm a driver now and knowing everything's thrown out the window, I'm not sure that I want to be up front. I'm thinking maybe I'll just go to the back, let everybody wreck out, and give myself a couple extra draws in this lottery.
I'll say Brandon Cruz. I'm not sure what Brandon Cruz was doing there on that. But Cruz sitting in the 11th position. Evan Locke spent most of this race 2 laps down or 1 lap down. Now back on the lap and in 12th. Not a bad run so far for Evan Locke. Sitting in that 12th position right now. Ryan Doucette in the 13th position, the number 10 machine. See what he can do. Justin Howe in the 22 car in 14th. That's where he started this race. But that car is all sort of torn up. That putting Twisted and Twisted Sister, that is for sure in the top 14. Then Alex Bates in the 15th position there. Ahead of Mark Parkhurst, who is surviving so far. There's Ken Huff behind the 49 of Andrew Griesbaum. Hayden Repas in 19th. Rory Collins, 23 car, sitting in 20th. Still a lot of cars running right now. It looks like we have 28 right now in this group. More than that on lead lap, but it looks like we're looking at 35 cars on lead lap.
So 35 cars all have a shot to win it when we go to the green, white, checkered finish. Are the lights off? Looks like the lights are off this time. So we will have 1 attempt. Green, white, checkered. Whatever happens, happens. Put your money on the table. Last call for bets starts now.
Gabriel Mauricio leads the way here.
Gabriel Mauricio in charge of the field. When we go back to green flag racing, Campbell behind him, Lewandowski 3rd, Osman 4th, Roberts your top 5. The first racing Ford Mustang coming down to the attention of pit road this time by. Ladies and gentlemen, it's what we've been waiting for. It's overdrive time as the 40 takes the green flag for the final time. Let the chaos begin as the green flag flies. So far, the 40 remains up front. He will continue to run that high line. Now a challenge down low, led by Lewandowski. Osman, the 58, the 5, all trying to challenge Guzman for 58 for the 50, 40 for the win. Now in out Lewandowski, getting a shot from the 30, the 55, all with him. High line starting to form, but they're all gonna try to stay in one of the 2 lines right now, side by side. It looks like Lewandowski may have the advantage going through turns 3 and 4.
Yeah, Lewandowski, a lot of bit of help there, but obviously the outside lane's not going to give any room anymore. Pinch that inside lane down as much as you can, just like that. That's what Mauricio just did to Lewandowski for the race lead. The point of no return. We're coming to the white flag. 1 lap to go.
1 lap to go. The 40, the 21, side by side. That 40 machine of Mauricio wants the win. Now you see Emily Howe up front. Now you see Emily Howe in the top line, being assisted by the 10 of Ryan Doucette. The third line starting to set as they go through turns 1 and 2. Now down the backstretch for the final time.
3 wide, 3 lanes. The outside lane's the lane to be in. Evan Locke going to the outside lane as well. The 15 has the advantage for a moment. This could be a photo finish.
21 has the advantage coming to the line through turns 3 and 4. Now into the tryover for one final time. No, it will be the 40 of the 40 machine up front. Will the 40 win it? 40 crosses the line first. The winner at Daytona is Gabriel Mauricio.
And they all wrecked big time behind. But that's all fine. Gabriel Mauricio wins at Daytona.
Gabriel Mauricio picking up the first win of the season. He'll be his second win in the Winstel Cup Series. The 2003 last season runner-up had 24 starts, 9 top 5s, 15 top 10s, only 1 win. Now he starts the season not as runner-up, but as the leader with adding another win to his career in the Winstel Cup Series.
Talk about finishing on the right track here. Mauricio out-racing Lewandowski. Zach Campbell, the pole sitter, in the top 3. Outstanding stuff tonight. Gabriel Mauricio kicking out the season with a race win, and he's going to burn it down.
Gabe Mauricio, Burton, there you go. There's the burnout we were waiting for, as he will burn down the tires, put a show on for the fans, surviving that last-minute run by both Lewandowski and Emily Howe to win the big one here at Daytona. Stay with us. We're going to talk to your top 3 finishers: Hernandez, Solis Jr. Mauricio, and your other top 2 finishers as well, as we get ready to close down the race tonight. But Gabriel Mauricio, first race in, your points leader and winner at Daytona International Speedway.
Yeah, Mauricio did a fantastic job there. We'll hear again from all 3 of the podium finishers: Mauricio, Lewandowski, and Campbell. And then we'll go through the running order here. We may actually do that first here before we talk to our podium finishers as we get ready for this. Lewandowski did a fantastic job, just not enough to get the race win here tonight. But definitely no shame in anything that happened here tonight. Here is the results front and center on your screen. Gabriel Mauricio, Thomas Lewandowski, and Zach Campbell, the top 3. Just an outstanding race tonight.
Ali Osmond in 4th. Emily Howe, the last-minute run for the Winstel 400 winner, will finish 5th tonight. Parker Alexander finishes 6th. Aaron Smith 7th. Ryan Doucette 8th. Evan Locke, who had this quiet night, will finish in position number 9. And Chris Champeau in the 18 will round out your top 10. Brandon Cruz, Alex Bays, Mark Parkhurst, Andrew Griesbaum, and Christina Ryan, your top 15. Corey Cook, Dylan Roberts, Jonathan Hernandez, Jose Solis, and Hayden Repas, your top 20. 21 belongs to Jeffrey McClintock. 60 belongs to Evan Melston. Justin Howe is finished as 23rd. 24th belongs to 23 of Rory Collins. Ken Huff, Mo Perry, Tyler Murray, Timothy Latham, Nick Doucette, and Brandon McKissick round out the top 30. Larry Pace, Sean Peleg, Mike Rasmus, James Bowles, Craig Lautenslaughter, your top 35. Kyle Benson, Christian Budd, Michael O'Brien, Brendan McGee, the Michael O'Brien, I believe it's 17 of Christian Budd is the last car running on the field tonight. Michael O'Brien, Brendan McGee, Davin Cornelius, all force of DNF, alongside, I believe, Drew White, DJ Trout, and Olivia Hayward.
Yeah, that is, and now as you see the drivers that did not start this race: Anthony Krobach, Corey Steinhauser, Eli Sasek, and Kenneth Askew not taking the start here, failing to qualify here at Daytona, with Rockingham coming up in 7 days' time next Sunday. Going to be a wild one at the Rock. It's time to talk to our podium finishers here. Let's see if we can start with P3 here. We'll start with Zach Campbell.
Zach Campbell finishing out here third tonight. And Zach, I just want to hear from you. What happened in that finish? It was a wild finish to watch, a wild finish to be part of. What happened for you out there? What did you see?
I saw a lot of Gabe's rear bumper. I was hoping that I was going to be able to keep it too wide and kind of see if something formed up third lane and try and hop up there. But I think they got to it before I did. And yeah, just wanted to push Gabe to the win. He's a good guy.
I'm sure he definitely appreciates it. At one point, though, looked like you might have been challenging him. If the opportunity presented itself, would you have gone high or low to try to challenge him for the win?
Well, there were two cars on my inside, so the outside was really the only place to go, and that's kind of where all the runs come from. When you're on the inside, you just get pinched off. So, pretty easy choice there to go to the outside.
Great campaign overall for you in the Nextel series. In 16 starts, you've had 5 wins, 7 poles, and 12 top 5s. How does this third place finish enable your momentum going into the rest of the season?
I don't really know. I got to go out and just kind of win one of these things next week and do a little bit better.
The Rock up next weekend. What's your strategy going in?
Don't crash, drive fast. There you go.
Generally speaking, good advice for living. Who makes it work for you, buddy?
Just thanks to Brennan and everybody who hosts the league. It's fun. Nice and easy Sunday night kind of little brawl sesh here, and yeah, nice and fun. Thanks to the team at Winstel.
Zach Campbell survives the brawl session in position number 3, looking to get to gut ahead in next week's race at Rockingham. The man who would be winner, the driver of the number 21 machine, Thomas Lewandowski, in second. And Tom, you were up front all night long. How hard is it to come away second place?
Well, considering I wasn't even going to race today, because I hate super speedways, I'm pretty happy with it. It was a little frustrating that we didn't really get to race that much for the lead, because they kept wrecking for P last or wherever they were wrecking for. But it was definitely hard fought.
You hate super speedways, yet you almost won this race. Were challenging for the lead throughout the night and even led a few laps. What was the secret for you guys? How did you guys make it work despite the chaos towards the end of the race?
I only took left side tires, and they tightened the setup up pretty good, where I wasn't having any issues with getting loose. And even though I hate super speedways, I've always been pretty good at them. And it's just a matter of picking your spots and knowing where you can go 3 wide. And that's how I got to the front pretty much, was around halfway through the race. I just decided to stick it 3 wide up top, when I was back in like 13th or 14th spot, and got all the way up to the front and just stayed there, after.
So you weren't planning to run tonight's race, but you did anyways. How does the second place finish change the momentum of your season now? How does that change what you look at for the rest of the for the upcoming weeks here in the Winstel Cup?
Oh, it for sure helps. I never kind of like to points race. I just go week by week and try to go for race wins or or whatever I can do that week. So it's a great point start. Gonna run all those schedules, so it could be a pretty big race at the end of the year. When all things are considered.
Rockingham next week. What are your thoughts going there?
My thoughts are Larry Pace will be very fast. He loves the track, so he's a buddy of mine.
Larry Pace will definitely be the one to watch next week. Who makes it work for you?
Just all my buddies over at the Drill Aisle: Larry, John, Bob. Marcus, all those guys, they're either sometimes they help me spot or they're just there for support. So, we'll catch them. We'll see how it goes next week at Rockingham.
Tom Lewandowski finishing second tonight in the number 21 machine, looking to start a full season with tonight's big win, or tonight's second place finish. The man who would be king finished second in the season standings last year. He will finish first tonight at Daytona. The driver of the 40 machine, Gabriel Mauricio. Gabe, that's got to be an incredible feeling to have fought all that fight to come out first.
Yeah, absolutely. Like the entire time, I felt like I was going to get clipped in the wreck. Like since the first one was so close. So the final one was 2. If I got clipped in the quarter panel, it was going to be game over. So I was just trying to manage the run. And honestly, I always went for the middle. The top was way too bumpy, and the inside you can get pinched and cause a wreck. So I was mostly just maintaining that line and maintaining the run. And I just got to thank Zach for keeping up with me. He was pushing the whole time. We were working together the whole race. Pitting on the green wasn't much of a thing. We just had cautions at the perfect time, so it just helps a lot get a win early in the years. Last year it took so long. I only got one in the second to last race, so I know it's a super speedway, but still it means a lot to get one right away and get that pressure off your back.
Coming into tonight's race, what was your strategy? What were you thinking? Was winning on the agenda, or were you just hoping to have a strong finish to start your campaign this year?
It was tough to make a call because we knew the race was going to be 3x3 and also one rack area out. So I didn't know if I wanted to go from the back and try to go to the front late in the race or qualify and stay there. But I think I qualified, P7 or something like that. And I mostly trusted the people that were up there, so there's no point to go back to like a 40-car field and then try to avoid every wreck. So I was just maintaining there, not really making moves. The only time I went for a 3 wide was when I didn't trust the guy in front of me, so I just feel like I had to get out of there. And as soon as I did, they wrecked behind me, so I think it was a great call. But outside of that, I really was not making a lot of moves, just waiting for something to happen behind me and make a decision. And it worked out just fine. I also appreciate Thomas for racing clean. I didn't want to pinch him too hard. I feel like it's messed up at Daytona to do that. You're almost asking for the guy to stop on the bottom and fully lift. So I tried to give him enough space so we could race fair to the end, and I think we got that finish. Was pretty cool.
Walk me really quick through those last 2 laps. You were up front. You saw everything come together. What was running through your mind as knowing there's only 2 laps left, no caution, whatever happens, happens? What were you thinking as everything started unfolding around you?
I feel like on play tracks, I usually get lucky if I restart at the end, like 5th or 3rd, but usually when I restart in the lead, that's usually where it goes wrong for me. I never bring it back, so I didn't know if I went too soon or if I didn't maintain the gap too much, jumping the start too soon. So the moment I saw them go to the inside, I still wanted to maintain the middle. I didn't want to give up that line, but I was worried they were going to clear me going by in 3 and 4, so that was the main fear I had. But thankfully, Zach was right there pushing, and I could pretty much stay side by side, which would hold them back and just bring it back to the line.
Next week, you've got The Rock coming up. How does this win affect your strategy and thought process going into next week's race?
Yeah, so I know we have the chase this year, which you don't have to be as consistent as the other format from 03, but still we got good points day today. Rockingham was a great track for me, even though we still were on ARCA back then. We got the Jump 4 a week later at Vegas. But I like that track with the Jump 4, so now I can just be consistent. And usually the bad finish for me were at play tracks, so getting a good one at Daytona just means a lot. It gets a lot of pressure out of my back.
Gabe, who makes it work for you out there?
Honestly, I just want to thank Winstel for putting this whole league together. I mean, it was just awesome to see a league get all the organization, to get the paint schemes, the schedule. So I just want to truly thank them, and also congratulate ABN for the new broadcast for Winstel, and hope I can maintain the consistency this year.
Gabriel Mauricio, he was runner-up last season, looking to make a big stand for this season, finishing 1st in Daytona. Well, Carmen, I think we've had so much excitement here tonight. We've had so much fun, and the racing was just top quality. An incredible race to kick off the season here in the Winstel Cup Series. Of course, next Sunday we'll be at the Rockingham Speedway for the next leg of the Winstel Cup Series. You want to join us about 7:45 Eastern, 7:45, 4:45 Pacific time. But before that, join us on Wednesday for the ABN Champ Car Series going to Las Vegas. I'll start 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Carmen, Sienna, and company on the call for that one. And of course, this coming Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, the HGL National Series takes on the last great Coliseum at Bristol Motor Speedway.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. We get a couple of days off here before we get to go to Las Vegas. Going to be spending some time all over the place. Short tracks, speedways. We get to go to Europe for the 8 hours of Monza on Saturday. Always busy here on ABN. But what a way to kick off the week with a race here at Daytona. Nothing ever beats being here on the high banks. As you mentioned, we get the Rock next week. Another track that's going to be very bumpy, very abrasive. Let's see how these drivers handle it when it's a lot short of a racetrack too. Just a mile long in Rockingham. Gabriel Mauricio, though, what a way to start off the season. Teammates there, first and third. Overall, a fantastic run there. Just what a way to kick off the season for Mauricio. Talk about putting a stamp of approval on the season already. Just absolutely outstanding stuff there. Can't wait to see how the rest of the week goes, because I have a feeling that seeing results like that, seeing performances like that from teams, I have a feeling that's about to become the norm here in the Winstel season.
Be sure to join us when we come back racing next Sunday from Rockingham. On behalf of my partner, my broadcast partner, and the lady who makes it all work, Carmen Sienna, my name is Joe Cortez. Thank you for joining us for the opening race of the Winstel Cup Series. We'll see you next Sunday right here at ABN at 7:45 Eastern Time, 4:45 Pacific for the next leg of the Winstel Cup Series. Until then, good night, everybody.